for so very long, people that we thought should have been revered and appreciated turned out to be people that are less than decent. They're actually downright disgusting. Now, anybody who has ever listened to or watched any of the films that Frank Sinatra was in over the years, he's obviously a hell of a talent. He's the crooner. He was the leader of the Rat Pack.
What is it? How are you bringing in Frank Sinatra?
I'll tell you why. Because unfortunately, we are in a situation where, as we lead up to this very important story about the Resnicks, I want people to understand that when you have celebrities that are given platforms to say whatever they want, to do whatever they want, there's a reason that they have often been able to get away with this. Now, I'm not saying that Sinatra didn't have talent. Obviously he did. However, when you learn this bit of information about Sinatra, aside from the fact that there is a growing belief that Sinatra may have had something to do with Kennedy's assassination, this is one of the reasons, Jeb, I don't know who that is.
We don't know who that is. So
you have to explain that one to me.
Yeah.
I got to know that. You had on our show. From North Dakota. Yes. Yes. And I do agree that he will hopefully learn, and I will continue to try to help him to learn, because again, he grows up in a state that's 95% white. He only knows white culture, and he has been convinced that white culture is being erased. So that's that. And again, he doesn't.
Well, you know what? It kind of is. But here's the thing. Is it really that great? And also my theory,
not from a food perspective, I could say that.
No, and here's the thing. People really, the melanin thing. See, we all started out from the same woman. We all come from the same woman in Ethiopia, right? And as our people, Homo sapiens, moved further away from the equator, they needed less melanin to protect themselves from the rays of the sun, hence whiteness. Okay, so white people are faded Black people. All right. Now what we're seeing happening is, because of things coming kind of full circle and people kind of reconnecting, I do believe that at the end of Homo sapiens on this planet, we will eventually all be one sort of shade of brown again. I actually do think we're heading back in a direction where we're all going to end up some sort of shade of brown. Anyhow, it doesn't matter. The point is that the whiteness that you see as a culture is not a culture. That's not whiteness is not a culture. It's a lack of melanin. Okay. Your culture does not come from your skin color. I promise you. That's not a thing.
People will live and they will learn, and that's all we can do. You get way too uppity about this issue. Anyway, I want to be very clear that, as I said, Sinatra has talent, but give credit to a show that we have been highlighting quite a bit, TRT World. This is information that even I wasn't aware of. I'm sure you weren't either. But when it came to the creation of the Zionist state back in 1948, they needed a lot of help in order to make it so, including financial help. And here's where Mr. Sinatra came into the equation.
In the Hollywood glamour and sold-out concerts of the icon known as Old Blue Eyes, there's another story about musician Frank Sinatra that many people have never heard, a story tied to the invasion of Palestine, the Nakba, and covert arms operations. Historical accounts claim Sinatra played a secret role in helping move money linked to Zionist militant groups during the Arab-Israeli War of 1948. At the time, Zionist militants, including the Haganah, were using international networks to obtain weapons and ammunition. Haganah operative and former politician Teddy Kollek recounted that he had been tasked with then Israeli Prime Minister David Ben-Gurion with delivering a large cash payment to a ship captain transporting ammunition toward Palestine. But US authorities, including the FBI, were reportedly monitoring known Haganah operatives. Kollek later claimed he discussed the surveillance problem with Sinatra at New York's Copacabana nightclub, which also housed Haganah's secret headquarters.
Oh, the
Copacabana
headquarters at the Copacabana. Okay.
So not only was the Copacabana one of the major fronts for the 5 New York crime families, this is also a place where the Haganah had their headquarters as well. And who was the head of who was the lead act at the Copacabana? You're looking right at him. So when people would say that Sinatra was mobbed up, it wasn't tongue in cheek. It's very real. He was very, you could say he was
No, he
essentially a
was
made man.
connected. He was very connected.
Exceptionally.
The next morning, according to the story, Kolak walked out carrying a decoy bag while federal agents followed him. Meanwhile, Sinatra allegedly left through another exit carrying around $1 million in cash inside a paper bag. The money was reportedly delivered to a ship captain at a New York pier, from where it was then transferred to Zionist operatives in Palestine.
Ugh.
I mean, you want to talk about blood on your hands? You know that Sinatra's daughter...
It's Kraut Mick. Kraut Mick.
My
Got it
Kraut
reversed,
friend.
Alex, but thank you. Listen here, my Kraut Mick friend.
I'm going to make so much trouble for you, you won't know what hit you.
And yes, we've heard about the Jewish mob.
movie.
And yes, Meyer Lansky has stink all over this shit too.
Yeah, Meyer Lansky is Hyman Roth, or Hyman Roth is Meyer Lansky, and Johnny Fontaine is Frank Sinatra.
Well, you're talking movie, but I'm talking in real life. That
Well,
you're
in a
talking
way.
about the Zios and all of that. That has the Jewish mob all over it too.
Well, Darth X is onto something. He did it their way.
Yeah,
That's for sure. And keep in mind, Sinatra is an Italian Catholic. So the idea that he was caught up with this shit. Remember, Israel didn't exist. Frank Sinatra is directly connected to the creation of the state of Israel. Now we know for certain that that is the case. Interesting.
Yeah.
Well,
Not surprised. Marlon Brando, let me tell you, he definitely was a person who was a revolutionary.
well, that's for sure.
He was on the correct side of the global oppressed before people even knew there were the global oppressed. You know what I mean? Like Marlon Brando was very revolutionary with that.
They tried to make me an offer, but I refused. And I lived to tell about it.
Oh, really? Okay, we'll have to ask him about that.
Oh, yeah. Let's get...
He probably
Rach,
knows some stories.
Yeah, Rach, let's get Sinatra back on. And it would be helpful to also...
Sinatra, you mean Colonel Wilkerson. And by the way, you asking Rachel to reach out to Colonel Wilkerson is one of her most favorite things to do. She loves the Eisenhower guy.
Bring on the colonel, bring on the sergeant, bring them both together. They're two of our favorite people.
Oh, now you're talking about Fritz to her. She can't contain herself.
Absolutely.
She can't contain
The
herself.
operation came as fighting was escalating during the events Palestinians refer to as the Nakba, catastrophe in Arabic, in which Zionist paramilitaries violently expelled hundreds of thousands of Palestinians. But Sinatra's support for pro-Israeli Zionists didn't end there. Over the years, he raised money for Israeli causes, performed in Israel, and publicly supported pro-Israel initiatives.
His entire legacy should be shot to shit the more that this comes out, as far as I'm concerned. I don't care how talented he was. I don't care how much money he made people. I don't care how many guys he helped get laid because they listened to Sinatra and imitated his way of life. The fuck? This is a guy who, as far as I'm concerned, he is adjacent to genocide with what he did.
Yes. This is gross, but all right. My videos were more fun than your videos.
Hey, just trying to keep it real.
He later appeared in the film Cast a Giant Shadow, which focused on the creation of Israel's military. Critics later argued the film promoted a heavily pro-Israel narrative, portraying Israelis as heroes while reducing Palestinians and Arabs to simplistic stereotypes. Despite being a Roman Catholic of Italian descent, Sinatra's body was kept at a Jewish funeral home before burial after he died.
That to me blows my mind. And that's verifiable that they did that. Why would that happen?
Wait, they kept him. I don't understand what they just said about it. They
So
kept him
he
at
had a traditional Catholic mass burial. However, prior to his burial, you want me to play it again?
No, just tell me what was it? It was something about he had it.
Yeah, listen.
Being a Roman Catholic of Italian descent, Sinatra's body was kept at a Jewish funeral home before burial after he died. This was seen as a symbol of his long association with pro-Israel activism. Analysts say Sinatra's story reflects a wider chapter of celebrity involvement in shaping narratives around Israel's founding.
If he converted, like, Alex saying he converted.
No,
Look,
he didn't convert. He did not convert. But the point
it
is
doesn't, why he would be at a Jewish funeral home, I don't know. Maybe it was the closest one. Maybe the procedures of the preparation that they do is something that he liked. Who knows? I don't think where his body was held is that doesn't sound like, I think that's a stretch.
maybe.
While Palestinian dispossession and suffering was downplayed and Palestinians themselves were maligned.
So there you have it. And it is unfortunate. But that's the thing about the truth. A lot of people think that Elizabeth Taylor was a trailblazer, especially becoming the first paid actor or actress to make $1 million on a film. She got paid $1 million, and I believe it was 1962 for Cleopatra. And Elizabeth Taylor, like Sinatra, unbeknownst to us, because I didn't know this about Sinatra, but I knew it about Elizabeth Taylor, she was one of the biggest supporters of Israel that you could possibly imagine, like psychotically supportive of Israel. And that's it. I mean, everything should be exposed.